The area of Bandelier currently is a national monument in New Mexico of the southwestern United States, managed by the U.S. National Park Service. The place includes many cultural heritage sites. A short documentary film called Bandelier Reclaiming Home focused on a preservation and rehabilitation project at one of the ancient housing areas. The film's director and producer, Rachel Preston, shared more information about the project and about the film entered into this year's Archaeos Film Festival.
My dream is that the story of these kids gets told, because it was sort of an accidental story that we just happened to capture. It wasn't something we set out to capture. I knew that I wanted to pitch a TV series about the history of New Mexico architecture. And I knew that Bandelier was one of the places that I wanted to film. I approached Park Service assuming that they were going to shoot me down, and instead I had an archaeologist on staff running things there, JT Stark, who was like, oh, you've got to come see these kids. If you're going to be here, you've got to come see these kids. They're only going to be here for another 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, okay. It was just really amazing the way it came together. It was literally me and some friends with our iPhones and with little cameras. We had no gear. We hadn't had time to get gear. And we went out there and like I had an intern at the time from the local arts high school. And we just went and we did it with duct tape and baling wire. And it was one of those stories that became so compelling that we didn't even know what to do with it. And then we thought, well, what if we wove it into some kind of story that told their story? And I think it became something really kind of special for something that's like a glorified slideshow, especially, you know? Those kids are precious, and what they're doing and what they're taking back to their pueblos is so profound. And it's going to change the way that we do archaeology, architecture, all of it there, and the way that they look at sustainability. And I'm just so excited for them. They're the future of archaeology in New Mexico and for their pueblos, and that's huge. I thought it was really special. That's why I put it out there. I was like, this isn't something I would normally show. We were just documenting this moment in time. It was like watching snow. And then I had already had a team together because of we had made a real movie about Acoma Pueblo, a bigger documentary, much more official, and interviews and all of that. And so I just called my team and I was like, I have this little thing and there's something special here. I don't want to let it get lost in the void. My favorite part about working with at Bandelier was that it was this amazing amalgamation of people. It's very rare that the Park Service is able to come out and share these stories in such a giving way, and that they had indigenous contact with the communities themselves that they were representing and surrounded by. And it wasn't just these kids that we show mostly in the video, but there were other days where there were a crew from Youth Conservation Corps as well as Rocky Mountain Youth Corps. And so it was actually 6 different pueblos that were represented. And it was really incredible to just see this representation and see these kids seeing the Park Service had hired people from their pueblos, and that there was a stepping stone for them to become something important in the Park Service someday, right? It encouraged participation, and then that just went out into their own communities and pueblos, and then they started talking amongst each other about what they would do together to raise things and to raise these questions within their communities. I felt like I was witnessing a miracle, really and truly. It was just amazing. I'm actually writing a book right now called The Spirit Seeker's Guide to New Mexico Architecture. And it is a new way of looking at architecture that looks at it through the lens that these kids have taught me to see through. And I'm really proud that I can share their stories and their impacts on me and my whole crew. Everyone who is involved has been transformed by this experience. I'm just so honored that we got to witness it and be there and capture that moment in time. It was really special.
You can see the short documentary film Bandelier Reclaiming Home, along with many other films, at this year's Archaeos Film Festival. Please check in the video description for a link to the Archaeos website with information about the film festival in its various in-person and online venues. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.